Absolutely. Just a couple house cleaning items first. Obviously, he's not here, Nate's presence, but got good news, obviously, from his procedure. Continue to wish Nate best wishes as he recovers on his journey back. A couple things from us in-house here. Obviously, Chase Hayden, we talked about after the game. He did get confirmed, had a lower leg fracture. It's a non-surgical, so he'll need about 4 to 6 weeks to recover. Obviously, we put him out for our season, the regular season. If we were fortunate enough to qualify for bowl, obviously got a chance there, but he'd be out for the rest of it. DeAndre Coley, got a chance for him to come back this week. We brought him with us to the hotel. Actually, he received treatments all weekend, doing everything he can to get back. Hope to get him back at some point this week, as well as Jack Krause. Kendrick Jackson, haven't seen Kendrick. He came back last night. Have him back in the mix this week. Johnny Gibson. I'm sorry, last week I had Jeremy Gibson. I apologize for that confusion. I'm getting coached a lot of Gibsons and a lot of Johnnies. I just keep mixing the two together. But Johnny came out of the game on Saturday better than he's felt the last 2 weeks, so we should have him for the full week of practice as well. Be well. I know he's sustained a little bit of an injury there during the course of the game. Should be fine. The big news is Frank Ragnow, unfortunately, received basically a lower leg, high ankle sprain, a pretty severe one that on Sunday we took a close look at it and has been confirmed now that he will be out for the rest of the year. He unfortunately sustained an injury that will probably need a procedure. The procedure that he had done or that we're looking into is about a 12-week recovery. It's one unfortunate that it takes that long, but it has a great success rate. Talked to several people yesterday at the next level that have had guys that are playing at Pro Bowl level that really they actually consider the surgery like a major surgery would be like ACL reconstruction, broken bone, some different surgeries that you guys know what I'm talking about. This is a minor procedure that is actually had high success rate, so our hope and pray for him is unfortunately he'll miss the rest of his time with us, but should have a 12-week recovery and then be full strength. The sad part is he's playing absolutely unbelievable football. I've had a handful of offensive linemen drafted in the first round, and he is at their level, if not even higher. I put him in the same category that I'd put guys like Kevin Zeitler, a guy that started as a true rookie freshman, first-round draft pick, Joe Thomas. Obviously, you just saw this past weekend. The thing about Frank is he's an exceptional football mind, but he's an exceptional athlete for a big guy at 315 pounds. The way he runs, his genetics, his ability to just bend, move, flex, and just his competitive nature is off the charts. Had several NFL people tell me during the course of this first 7 weeks of the season he's probably playing not just as the best interior lineman, but one of the best linemen in the country that they've seen all year. So he was playing at a high level. Actually played one snap at guard, which probably is a blessing in disguise now that we got Zach Rogers in for that game. So Zach will take over at the center position, and also Jake Rollerson will as well. So got unfortunate news there, and really just thoughts and prayers go out with those two guys in particular, him and Chase, who were playing at a high level. Unfortunately, won't be able to continue that. So we move into our preparation for Ole Miss. Obviously, an SEC West opponent that to go over there, play an 11 o'clock game. Got a lot of challenges in front of us, obviously, with personnel and everything else, but one that I think our guys, this game has always been a great one for us, competitive, high level of competition in the last several years, so we've been able to win the last couple. So I know our guys have had success, but there's no guarantees in anything but what's in front of you, and that's the preparation of this week. So I think they'll focus into that. They were obviously a solemn and a quiet crew yesterday, but I think they'll rebound and come back and have a good week of preparation and see where we go from there. Other than that, Austin Allen, you guys keep asking the questions. He maybe threw it right underneath your nose. He was throwing Saturday out on the field. I don't know, no one caught it with all the cameras in today's world, but he's been throwing, and if there is a chance for him to play on this Saturday, it's been the best of any of them to this point, but Cole Kelly will get the majority of the workload unless Austin really comes on strong at the end of the week, and see where we go from there. Did talk to T.J. Hammonds this morning. T.J. will go back to the running back position for us. had been doing a good job, but I think he feels, and as coaches, we feel the best position for him probably, and especially with the injury to Chase, he can really take over all the reps and the schemes and the personnel groupings that Chase was using and be a pretty natural fit to that. So talking with him this morning, he's very excited about that opportunity.
Ryan, have you ever had a season with this many significant injuries?
I get questioned a lot that. My wife has been with me for quite a few of them. She made the same comment right away on yesterday when I gave the news about Frank. He just holds a special place to people's hearts. But as far as I think overall numbers, probably just the overall numbers. I think to start, to premier guys. Usually you're going to have a couple. In the preseason, maybe you may get one or two during the course of the year, but to have running back, wide receiver, quarterback, best offensive, maybe the best player on our team, it's just it's not anything more than reality. I mean, you got to step up and play it and see where it goes from there.
What's the best O-line situation for you?
Tom, I think Johnny being healthy helps out quite a bit. He is. When he's healthy, has played pretty well. We knew that we had Yelda, Johnny, and Frank that had played very, very well. Brian Wallace has done well at times. And Colton Jackson, again, had shown flashes. I think the fact of the matter is now those guys are, Frank was kind of the glue guy, not to obviously overstate his value in that regards, but Zach is very competent, very well thought of within the group, so I think he's going to be able to, and he'll step up all week. The good news is this happened on the front end of the week rather than back end of the week, so he can prepare all week. I think we got about a core group of 7 guys that we feel comfortable. It's just a matter of how we all piece it together. I don't know if it was the second or third. It was in the second quarter. He, as is the case a lot of times with high ankle sprains, it's something that, especially some of the guys that are as tough as Frank is and as athletic as he is, it's a lot more. I've seen a lot of this times in my career where the next day it swells in and takes place, and that's exactly what happened.
What was Frank's mindset?
It was tough. Sunday was a tough day. I know he was very disappointed after the loss, and I think the part when I sat down with him yesterday and then I had today was just so much better. Yesterday was a very, very tough day, tough conversation. The finality, I think, of his college career was big, but not being able to help in a situation right now is I could tell by the look in his eye, the things he said, not being able to help us, being able to help me. I think that's probably his biggest thing. His career of all the dreams he had for this year, he's playing at such a high level. I mean, he won't get the national awards. I know he was thinking about the Remington and different things. Frank's not wired that way, but that was a byproduct of him playing extremely well. And because he's going to be cut short with so many games left in the season, he won't be able to obtain those. But I mean, as serious as I can be, I've never seen a player play as dominant as he's been through 7 games the way he has. It was just he's playing at a high level. No, I don't think there'd be a chance of anything of the competition. If you look at, we're still working with different people on when and who do the procedures. But if you say that he gets the surgery done the first week of November, you got all of November, December, and January. But I do think he'll be able to make a pro day, no problem. He'll be able to make the NFL Combine. He'll be able to answer all the questions that they have. And again, there's been a couple players brought to my attention by NFL personnel. I talked to a couple GMs yesterday that they have guys on their roster right now that have had the surgery done, and it's a procedure that back in the day, 10, 15 years ago, a high ankle sprain, those things could linger on and give you lingering effects for months, years. And this procedure they're doing now is something that has had high results from running backs, safeties, and of course linemen.
You guys have started a different line the last 3 games. Now you kept doing 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about the line right now?
Well, what do you think? Yeah, I mean, it's been a precedent for us to always play, as consistently as we can within the O-line and D-line and the offensive line when they keep. We've had a lot of guys banged up here and there. They weren't able to coach, process during the week. If you go back to the spring game, everybody, why do you play ones against the world? My number one driving force is to have the number one O-line. Those 5 guys play together with their quarterback behind them and their running backs behind them, and they get a feel for them. And to have as much transition as we've had due to injury and and other details. It's been very frustrating, but it's what you dealt with. I mean, it makes our job what it is and presses us every day.
How do you game plan offensively for different lines?
Well, you know, depending on who's in there, really doesn't affect what you do. I mean, obviously Frank, because of his skill set, there were certain things you probably did as far as center poles. We do certain schemes going back to when Travis was here. Certain things that we do that's a little bit unique when we have a center that can move. I don't think we highlight those things, but we, you know, from tackle to or from tight end to tight end, you do the runs that we do. You always put wrinkles on them. Dan does a great job of putting window dressing on it and see things through different lineups or different aesthetics, but our run game is pretty consistent.
That's an Ole Miss situation. Quarterback's out.
Yeah.
Seeking the other guy. He's kind of an overview.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when you pop on the film, you see an offense that didn't change much when he came in. He ran the ball on a Zion quarterback draw that went for big plays, played a little bit in the Vanderbilt game as well. Got a live arm. You know, I don't know exactly. I haven't seen anything officially press release from them on who's going to be their guy. And, of course, we'll prepare for everything. But they've got a system in place I think they stay with that involves the quarterback run game, but also involves quarterback, you know, sitting in pocket and being a pretty detailed passing game as well. So we got to work it out for us.
Do you think he'll continue with the hurry up?
I do. Cole definitely feels best at times with that. I think our offense is catered to him being able to do that. If anything, go faster. TJ was back there on a kickoff return for me, I know. Davion, after he scored a touchdown, he got a little anxiety on the sideline, got a little amped up, and we had to pull him out of there. So I know he was back there on that, and I do believe he played for the last scrimmage. You can't quote me on that, Bob, but yeah.
What do you expect? What kind of?
Well, excited to get the ball in his hand. He has not been healthy. You know, he really hasn't had a meniscal tear surgery. You know, simple, clean procedure, but it set him out for 2 to 4 weeks at the beginning. Again, literally, we had a couple plays designed to get in his hands for whatever game that was, maybe A&M. I think it was A&M. It might have been South Carolina, and literally got his foot stepped on Wednesday late in practice that, you know, curtailed him from really playing in that game. So, and that lingered into the next week, just being able to practice in full go. He was in a boot and limping around. So he's back healthy now. He was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I called him this morning, and he had, I believe he had a 9:40 class, and I said, can I see you before? And he was at my door in like 5 minutes. He was like Superman. So I think he's excited to get out there.
When you think about the Henry Heed game there 2 years ago, I don't know, you might not reflect on it very much, but where that ranks maybe in your career and just the experience yourself on that game.
I get it. Maybe when I'm retired and sit back, I'll think about those things, but it was just one of those moments. Honestly, you know, we do practice that scenario. You know, the last play of a scenario where it's be the last play of the game, or in that situation where it's a 4th and forever, and you got to keep the ball alive. You don't go down. So I can't say as we practiced Hunter throwing it over his head blindfold with a skip by Dan Skipper into the hands of Alex Collins, who falls down and fumbles up to Dominique Reed and falls forward. I mean, that would have been hard to simulate, but it was pretty neat how it happened.
Fred, you going forward at center, I know you're back to
Yeah.
but there were some young guys that you could look at center. I mean, not this year,
Yeah,
but down the road.
absolutely. You know, Shane Klein's a guy that's been very impressive to us. We've actually started repping him and see exactly where that can go. You know, there's some other guys that have as well. There's some junior college prospects that we're pursuing their centers. You know, obviously Zach and Dylan Hayes is another guy that worked at that spot too. So.
Let me ask you about Kyle Leppert since he's picked up. I know he had the
Field goal, PAT.
But he's hit some pretty good field
He has.
What do you try to do?
Yeah, he's been pretty consistent. I would say that ever since he took over the kicking duties, even in practice, and he's 4 for 4, I believe, right? And field goals, missed a PAT, but I think that was at the end of the game, and not condoning by any measures, but he's hit the ball solid. It's off his foot well. It gets great height. He is a lefty, which is an unusual preparation factor, you know, so there's a lot of positives to his kicking game, and he kicked 2, I believe, touchbacks into the wind on Saturday, you know, that was was the kicker for Auburn. In my opinion, is probably one of the best college kickers I've seen, and he hit the ball toe for toe with him on Saturday. So he's a competitive guy. He's a well motivated guy. He's pretty sincere in his approach. I'm excited about where he's at.
The punt return where Nate Dalton kind of
Yeah.
took it in and hit Conrad's view, how big was that play?
Huge,
What do you do?
huge. So I run a kick return and I run a punt return. We had a play called on that punt return where we knew they were kicking into the wind and set up a play. Nate drifted back, kind of peeked and saw him, and then didn't expect him to move that much. We absolutely positively can't. He was involved in on the flip play. You know, the first time they punted, he was the guy that was back there involved with it. We have a code word that we were using and communicating, and he heard it and didn't pull off. So there's a lot of teaching moments on that one. On the flip side of it, on the kickoff return for a touchdown, it was we had 9 opportunities on the day, and that was the only one that we were able to return, and it was executed perfectly. They got everybody's man on man, and then Nate actually was one of the key factors for springing him on that play. He was back there straining, fighting on a guy to get the leverage, and then of course he made the play down the field that eventually got waved off, but an unexcusable act to block behind the play. So I do believe that the wind caused some unusual kicking situations. You know, you saw their guy with the first one, when you were kicking into that wind, it was that ball would get held up a little bit higher and longer than normal, and we made our guys aware of it, talked about it, but obviously on the field presence is big.
I know it was a tough game, but I just had to see Dave and Warren have ever turned it like since 2014 since you guys
Yeah, this year I took over KOR during the fall camp, and one of the things that we had done the last 2 games, we were literally we called it one man away. We had a guy that if he had a positive block, it sealed. We had a perfect alley for a huge return. Usually what we'll do is you design something that gets up on the kicker, or at least one safety left, and we had a look the last 2 ball games and knew we were a step away. And Saturday, that return we didn't call until we actually had them kicking in the wind, because we knew when that guy kicked just normal, like I said, he had 42 out of 49 were touchbacks. So we waited till that exact moment. Those guys executed pretty clean.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.